Okay, so we're going to start talking about the pivot transfer technique. So the pivot transfer technique is using the same concept of closing one dart and transferring the space to another location on the block. So we're going to use the waste dart again, because that's obviously the only dart we've got in our block, and we're going to close this and we're going to put it somewhere else on the block. So we're going to open it out somewhere else. So a couple of things that you'll need. You will need ideally a push pin, or a pin, something that you can basically place on your pattern that goes through the block and the paper and just allows you to pivot your pattern around. And the reason why we use a pin is because it just means it pierces through, you know, the paper and the card, and it keeps it in place. It's not going to kind of move your pattern around too much, because it needs to be quite secure when you're moving the pattern. So yeah, if you can, push pin or, you know, some kind of pin to hold that in place. See what you can make do with. So first of all, I want to decide, where do I want to move this dart to? So we're going to use the textbook here for reference as well. So you could turn to page 81 if you have the textbook. But their example is, you know, basically transferring the dart to the mid-neck. Okay. So the great thing is, what we did on our pattern, or hopefully what you did, you know, you wrote in the, you know, the different lines, the templates. So our mid-neck is right here. So what you could do is just grab a pencil and just shadow that mark right on your block. And the reason why I'm using pencil is because you need to draw it on your block. And, you know, you can imagine after I've used this block a few times and I've moved my notches around, I'm going to end up with a lot of, you know, different little notches. So obviously if you're using a pencil, you can just erase it once you've finished with it. So I've put the new location of where I want my dart, the mid-neck. Just want to look at my block and understand that these are my two original dart legs. So here I'm going to write B and I'm going to write A. So I think that's going to help you guys see what I'm going to do. And then this is my bust point, so this is where I would put my push pin through. So the first thing that I want to do is basically draw a line. I want to trace my block, but I only want to trace it from A, so from this dart leg up to my new dart leg, the mid-neck. So I'm going to use a pen to do that. And a good way to remember it is that you want to be tracing the areas, or, you know, towards the center front for the start. So for example, this dart leg is closest to my center front, so I'm tracing around my block. Taking it up the center front. And I'm just going to take it up to where the mid-neck point is, so where that new dart leg is. Okay, so if I just move that, I've only partially traced my pattern. Oh, this is going a little bit blurry. Okay, so the next step is we want to close this dart so that it opens out extra space up here. So I'll grab a push pin and I'm just gonna place it at the bust point. I'm just gonna give you a heads up as well, my battery is quite low, so this video may be in two parts, but let's see how far we can get. So I've put the push pin at the bust point. Now I'm gonna close this dart. So, you know, normally I would cut this line and then I would shift it over, but because I've got this push pin in place, it's really easy for me is just to hold on to this area here, so dart leg B, and I'm just going to keep rotating the pattern until this leg joins up with A. Okay, so just keep rotating, and you can see what's happening here is this area is starting to open up. So just keep rotating, and I can see there's my second dart leg, point A, and then I've closed it. So now that line is closed, and I've opened out some space here for my dart. So what I'm going to do now is trace my block. So the important thing to remember is I don't want to start tracing from here, from the centre front. It always needs to be back at that new dart position. So remember, it was the mid-neck, the middle of the neck. So that's why it's helpful to have it right here on my block, because now I can just start tracing around the block. So down the armhole to straight back up to A. And you can see that completes my pattern. If I just trace it, I keep going all the way up to where I close my dart. I want to make sure I'm transferring my notch. So I've got a armhole notch right there. I like to just keep that in place. I've got my mid-neck notch. And now if I take this pattern away, just make sure my bust point is there. You can see this is the space of my new dart. So what I need to do is draw in the lines. I'm just going to finish up this bit as well, because I see that my pen didn't hit that. So I'm going to grab a red pen so you can see this. So all you need to do is join your bust point up to your new dart legs, which is at this opening and at this opening. And that's it. So you can see it's pretty straightforward. You know, we're just basically eliminating the process of cutting, and then, you know, we do the same thing. We almost pivot, but we just push the dart closed, and we've basically then done the same thing. We still need to just true our dart, so there's a few steps that we have to put in place to finish that up. And we're also going to add seam allowance to this pattern as well. So yeah, that'll be in the next video.